Chad, what makes a great territory? I mean, it's biscuits, it's breakfast. I could see how this would work anywhere, yet you've got 14 locations in 6 different states. So you're evidently trying different markets. Have you figured out, is there a particular market that works better? Or has this been just by chance the best people who've come forward that wanted a location?
Yeah, I think we look from a demographic standpoint, we have not fared as well in more blue collar areas. So we are traditionally looking for slightly larger cities. So
Hmm.
that's why you see us in Atlanta, Charlotte, Raleigh, the Virginia Beach area, Louisville, at least a couple 100,000 people or more. You're not going to get the density with our brand that you would Jersey Mike's or McDonald's or something like that. Like we're more that kind of specialty, maybe cheat day, treat, special occasion, whatever you want to call it. Um, versus like your everyday sandwich or, hamburger from McDonald's or whatever. So, demographically, we like good disposable income, uh, cities that will have a fairly large demographic of, I'll say younger, and I put that in quotes because that's all relative, but kind of that 20 or 25 to 55 ish,
Hmm.
is kind of our key. Like we get up in the 70s, 80s, like our, that fast casual model just doesn't resonate with them as much versus like a sit down. And same thing with like more affluent guests, they may want more of a sit down versus more of an order at the counter type of place. So, but we're looking for high density, good weekday daytime traffic. Cause I mean, weekends are going to be busy almost no matter where you are, where you put these
Hmm.
things, because everyone's eating brunch on the weekends, right? Because they're off work. But for the weekday traffic, you want hospitals, hotels, tourism, office, good co-tenancy, things, that good active, corridor where people are going.
Okay, so
So that's what
that's the so the key thing is, since it's going to do well anywhere in the weekends, the key thing is finding a location that's going to do great during the week.
that's yes. And, other supplemental income and sales, like with catering, we've really grown our catering a lot in the past couple of years where, I mean, some weeks we're 10% of our sales are catering and we're able to that, those don't take up any seats and those are caterings typically on the weekdays. So at least probably 95% of ours is. So that along with a good online ordering like loyalty program on top of third party, like you're then able to stack these on top of each other and really start building sales on the weekday. But yeah, I mean, weekends are pretty crazy. About 50% of our sales are coming on the weekends. So you also have to have a big enough space where you don't have people just waiting in line for an hour. So you got to be really strategic with how many tables you can get, the size of the dining room and all that. So it's a lot to manage and juggle.
Okay. Chad, what about the franchisees themselves? Who's the type of person that really thrives in your system?
Yeah, great question. We have only brought on, at least to date, seasoned multi-unit, multi-brand operators. I think is are we going to continue that forever and ever? If we want to grow, it's quite honestly going to be hard to maintain that that person. But if they have good business acumen, maybe they have retail experience, they're used to building teams. I think if they can surround themselves with people that do know the restaurant business, then they will be okay. Again, I created a concept never having worked in a restaurant before. Like it can be done. It takes a
Hmm.
special person, I believe, that's really going to be dedicated to it. But to answer your question, especially since we don't have national brand recognition,
Sure.
you have to have someone that is going to be hit the pavement, go out, market, local store marketing, getting involved in the community and be a very hands-on operator. One of our franchise groups, they actually have a more of an owner operator model, which I think, you take a page out of the Chick-fil-A book, the Texas Roadhouse book, where they're allowing essentially their GMs to buy in to their store. And just that sense of ownership really gives that person. I mean, they are technically an owner,
Sure.
and so they're gonna treat it, and it may only be 10% or 15%, but they're gonna treat it so much differently than just a higher general manager. And so we are starting to look at our own corporate stores and JV stores, how what that general manager looks like and what their title is, and how can they maybe earn a better title, maybe like an operating manager,
Mm-hmm.
operating partner. They don't have equity because that complicates things if we're doing it now. But maybe they're able to earn a bigger bonus, and maybe they get their name on the door that says that title. So something to give them at least what feels like ownership and a bigger bonus, which they can control largely based on
Okay.
how hard they work and how well they control their costs.
What about the investment range to open a location, and how big, what's the footprint usually of a location?
Yeah, the footprint is around 3,000 square feet. We try to get end caps with patios, just to, obviously get some free rent. Rent
Mm-hmm.
is just continues to go up. And as we're looking at bigger cities, it's just eye opening what people
Uh-huh.
are charging right now.
Yes, for sure.
Um,
And the investment
but
range?
yeah, the investment range, I don't have the exact dollar amounts memorized, but around the 800s to about 1.3. And that's just basically assuming you don't get any tenant improvement dollars from the landlord, which we're typically getting a pretty good amount. That's 3 months operating capital, 3 months of rent, franchise fee, build out all your FF&E. I mean, that's, as I say, all the things that the lawyers make us put in there.
Of
So
course. Yep. Well, you gotta be protected.
you do.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk a little bit about vision for the future. Where do you see the brand growing over the next 5 to 10 years?
Yeah, we've been focused on kind of call it Texas and North, maybe up to the Dakotas. Sorry, South and North Dakota, and then over east. Though I'm probably be a little timid or skeptical, like going into like the true New England area,
Mm-hmm.
just because I think the bagel kind of dominates there for breakfast. The South, we have our biscuits and they have bagels. So yeah, I mean, we're looking at kind of the Midwest, Southeast is kind of the primary target. And that's where we're targeting franchisees. Again, I know you guys are in Florida, would love to be in that state,
We're
but
ready for you, Chad. We're ready.
there's plenty of white
Mm-hmm.
space. I mean, you take kind of those Southeast, Midwest. I mean, you could have 100 of these like fairly easily, and then just can kind of continue to grow from there. So that's where we're currently targeting.
Okay. And tell me about like now, like why now is a great time for somebody to join the brand and be a franchisee of Biscuit Belly?
Yeah, well, I think because we are small, people can have input. We are constantly talking with our franchisees on a weekly basis, and they really do have a lot of good ideas, and they have their own connections that can help us with our cost of goods, and maybe they have a vendor that they typically work with, and we can get better pricing, so we can help each other out
Mm-hmm.
in that regards. So, if you are looking for something new and you're not just looking to open another wing stop or, Taco
Mm-hmm.
Bell or whatever. And, we like to call ourselves craft casual. So we're primarily scratch based. So if they're more interested in making things from scratch and have pride in that and have pride in the service that we want to provide, that's going to be far greater than, a more traditional QSR, rehydrate your refried beans, with some water, and keep them hot. So, I mean, I think it's also a very unique concept in the fact that our menu is, you can't really get our menu anywhere else. And so again, trying not to, the concept was founded and started to give, guests and diners a non bacon, eggs and waffles or bacon, eggs and pancakes type of experience, and a type of menu. So it's a very unique menu. Again, for the boozy brunch lovers, we have cocktails. For the coffee lovers, we have, our espresso and a menu that you're really not going to be able to find anywhere else. So it can definitely be a very intriguing thing to open up a very different concept that's new and you can help really grow and decide the future of it. I think it's very compelling.
Yeah, well, it's always special when you're one of the earlier adopter franchisees to come in, and we never forget our franchisees, especially the early ones. So, and they will play a special part in the brand. Very nice. Chad, if someone was interested in learning more about the franchise, where would they go?
So probably our website, which is biscuitbellyfranchise.com. And that's got, we have video testimonials from our franchisees on there. It's got AV data. It's got cost of goods, labor data, some numbers from our item 19. And yeah, it's you can submit an inquiry and we can talk.
Thank you for tuning into the Emerging Franchise Brands podcast. For additional insights, guest applications, and to stay connected, visit us at efbpodcast.com. The Emerging Franchise Brands podcast is for entertainment purposes only, and the views expressed do not necessarily represent those of Emerging Franchise Brands, its host Frank Fumey, or Emerging Franchise Group LLC. Any discussed franchise or investment opportunity requires thorough investigation, obtaining proper disclosure documents, and expert consultation before making any investment decisions. The podcast and its host do not offer professional advice or endorsements, and they hold no responsibility for actions, representations, accuracy, or consequential damages related to the podcast content.